but you have to go home now. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special. But go home and go home in peace. The demonstrators who infiltrated the Capitol have defiled the seat of American democracy. You do not represent our country. And to those who broke the law, you will pay.
Really?
Yeah, apparently she had a blockage, an intestinal blockage, and she was so weak that she wouldn't survive surgery. The little kitten, Bobby, they gave her dewormer and antibiotic.
It's not a viral thing then for the Bobby? Took out like her whole freaking house worth of pets. Which is probably a good thing in disguise.
That called today and had an opening, so the third stage put a kitten in. First, Bobby is a boy, not a girl. He needs some salve to put into his eyes and also deworming medicine. Said it's not unusual for the rest of the litter to die. It's nature for them having so many. She got
Well, I understand that.
blockage in her intestine and was down to 2.37 pounds. She was going to x-ray her, but then she was so weak that she would survive surgery, and so they put it.
Yeah, you might want to go spend some time with Joyce. Yeah, I got this. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Yeah, our neighbor apparently lost some more cats, which I guess is a blessing in disguise because she has way too many cats. She's got cats outside, too, that she feeds, which we tell her that, if you're going to do that, you should at least get them spayed and neutered, but, that's money out of the pocket, and she's a big softie, so that's what's going on in my world. Other than that, today we went to the gym. We hadn't gone to the gym in about a week. It had been a while. Hence the reason why I'm a little bit late, because after that we decided, to get something to eat, something good to eat. We have a place in Arizona. I don't know if they have multiple restaurants or if it's in other states, but it's called the Protein House, and it's all about protein, right? So we went there to have a protein-filled dinner after our workout, and now dealing with the neighbor's cats and stuff. She has a really old dog that's ornery as all hell, and then she has 3 regular cats that she's had since we've been there, and then there was like a litter of kittens, and a lot of their tails were all jacked up, I guess, just genetic. And one of them is called Bobby because he got a little bobtail. She had a whole bunch of them, and I'd say most of them had jacked up tails. One was kind of cool. It was going up, and then it made a right angle. In fact, we called it Angle. That one died too. So yeah, she's lost, I believe, all but one of the kittens. And now there was another cat that she was taking care of that had done pretty well that she had for a while. That one, she had to get put down apparently. So that sucks. So Riddle Girl is going to go over there and talk to her for a while because, it's been a day for her. And anyway, what's up, Gerald? How you doing? Do you have a container for your keef? Just curious. I thought about getting one today, but we were already running late getting back to the house. I was like, screw it. I'll just keep it in the grinder. No big deal. But at some point, I want to get one of them presses. Yeah. I've been watching a lot of that lately. Okay. Everybody doing well? Sorry for the rush start. By the way, we will be having a Patriot Bible Chat an hour after this one. So I do hope to see all of y'all there. Nice to see Gerald here. I know you're busy at this time of night now. So good to be here. Everything sounds okay, hopefully. Little girl's not here to check on anything, so if anything is off, let me know in the comments. Appreciate it. Okay, first of all, I don't want to start with this story, even though that is the one for the thumbnail. Mike Lee's bill would ban federal funding for genital mutilation of kids, which, I mean, we all have an opinion on that, I suppose. I just leave it in the grinder. There you go. What about a press? Do you have a press? You have a pollen press? Is it called a pollen press? I think it's called a pollen. Then I got to figure out how much I have and how much I need before I do that. Anyway, I was hoping to see this guy's video. He had talked about how he had a new leak coming in soon from the ATF. However, I don't believe this is it. This is a 14-minute video. The GOA rains down the pain on the ATF. We'll give it a couple minutes, see what he's talking about.
Let's talk about these pistol braces in the GOA's comments to the ATF. Tactical.com. We my pictures in there.
Yeah.
Kind of cool. The writer is Rob Olson, aka Chicken Farmer. He has represented me in the past and is one of my really good friends, and I talked to him about a lot of stuff. So I collaborated with him on these comments. He wrote all the comments. I provided a couple pictures. So did other people. So I might have a little bit of insight to.
Wow, the guy's already got a really good microphone.
The normal person wouldn't have. So just wanted to put that out there.
I've been wanting to get one of these microphones for a
GOA
minute.
is claiming the proposed rules are masquerading as rulemaking to assist gun owners, when the actual goal is to outlaw almost all pistol braces.
Pretty much.
They want to ensure that almost all pistol stabilizing devices will be ineligible to be used on non-rifled firearms. The ATF even has a section in the rules that says, even if it does pass all the rulemaking, that if we decide that it's trying to circumvent the NFA, we're still going to charge you with having an SPR. The ATF is revoking all prior classification letters issued to manufacturers. Basically, what they're trying to do is rewrite the statute that Congress has passed. The ATF says they are just restating existing protocols, but that doesn't appear to be the case. It appears that the ATF is offering an entirely new, and according to Olson, conflicting way by which they analyze pistol braces.
Well, they have to, because they approved pistol braces. They said pistol braces were okay. Then they said you're not supposed to shoulder it. And then they said, oh, I guess it's okay to shoulder it. And so everybody started, remember this whole thing? This has been going on for years. When pistol braces first came out, everybody's like, oh, I don't want to get that. I don't want to get that. And then the ATF said, yeah, go ahead and get that. And everybody got that. And everybody started shouldering it. And then somebody somewhere said, no, you can't do that. Then it's a stock. And so nobody shouldered it. Right? Absolutely nobody was shouldering their pistol brace on video. And then they come out and say, well, it's a pistol brace, and just because you use it differently doesn't make it something that it's not. So everybody started to, use it as a stock. And now they don't like that, even though they've okayed it. And now they're tripping over their words, trying to come over, all these new things.
GOA cites a case, much like SB Tactical did, that says one of the basic procedural requirement of administrative rulemaking is that an agency must give adequate reason for its decision. And where an agency fails to provide even the minimum level of analysis, the action is arbitrary and capricious and cannot carry the force of law. And basically what they are saying is that the ATF really didn't give a reason. We all know what the reason is, and the reason is political. Biden ordered them to change the rules, and that is what they are doing. GOA wants to know if the ATF is using legislative power or interpretive power to make the new rules. If they're using legislative power, then they are usurping the power of Congress, because we've all seen the Magic School Bus and Schoolhouse Rock, where a bill becomes a law through Congress and not the ATF. If they're using interpretive rulemaking, then this opens up a whole nother can of worms, and it gets kind of scary. The ATF says a person can remove the brace and render it inoperable, but that is only assuming the person bought a pistol and put a brace on there, because under the law, if they bought it with the brace at the store, and that is now considered an SBR under the new rulemaking procedures, that would always be an SBR. It would never, ever be a pistol, because it was never a pistol, because it was sold as an SBR under the new rules. That's where we get into the other thing with interpretive powers being a big...
All right, I'm done with that already, but I thought that was interesting enough to play a little bit of it. Let's see if I, hold on, I'm not subscribed to this one. Unload. It was supposed to have a leak. What is up at the ATF? That's 6 minutes. What is the ATF up to? Huh. Yeah, it was a Monday. I guess this one, huh?
Holy skiddly-doo. There's a new...
Skip most of the formalities here. I do want to thank Flying Rich that I got from the financial services within the ATF, which is kind of interesting, because who knew they had a financial service branch, but they do. And we're going to be talking about the CARES Act and mission creep. But before we get into what the CARES Act is and how the ATF is involved, let's talk about mission creep.
What's up, username?
Mission creep.
Wow, it's been a minute, bro. It's been a minute. They're making laws for defunct, bankrupt DC. They just armed the Taliban. Their laws got no... well, yeah. Well, if you break their laws, you're still going to go to jail. But if they break their laws, they ain't going to do nothing. Hold on a second. This is Pro Stream right here. Pro Stream. If you didn't know that. All right, cool. Guess what? They're finally covering Hunter Biden's laptop. So I suppose we can talk about it now. After denying the legitimacy of the New York Post bombshell report about emails obtained from Hunter Biden's abandoned laptop for nearly a year, some in the mainstream media have finally admitted the report was in fact credible. Last year, right before the election, the New York Post reported on a series of emails the publication obtained from a laptop Hunter Biden had abandoned in a Delaware computer repair shop. The emails show that Biden was involved in several shady foreign business deals, and that his father, President Joe Biden, seemed to be aware of them. However, the media refused to treat the report seriously, claiming they were Russian disinformation aimed to hurt the presidential campaign. Here's a question. We all talk about how Biden is not going to make it to his second term or running for his second term. Kind of wonder if they're just not going to oust him because of this stuff, and that way Kamala is de facto president. It's my phone. I listened on laptop. Ye hadn't been in chat for a minute. Well, I am Gladys Thou has shown up to my chat. Twitter even censored circulation of the story. Yeah, you remember that when you couldn't even talk about it? Gotta love that freedom of speech. Right, YouTube? By the way, I was going to work on a little scroll thing or maybe just a full-on text that stays up on the window the whole time, like, I am not a medical professional, please do not take it's not even medical advice. Like, I need a warning on my video here that says, in no way am I giving medical advice, because I know I'm not a medical professional, and it's not that, it's just my opinion. But I don't think that would help either. We tried different code words here. Sniffles instead of coronavirus. The shot instead of vaccination. right? All these code words. I don't think it really works that much. It could be that we have a troll, which, we usually get a troll here and there. Or who knows? Twitter, yeah, I already said that. Censored circulation of the story, suspended the Post account to suppress the report circulation. They suppressed the New York Post. I think that's very important. Not only do they suppress you and me, but they suppress the New York Post. Well, if that's not against the First Amendment, I don't know what is. This week's Politico published reporting of an upcoming book by correspondent Ben Scherkinger titled The Bidens. He confirmed that the emails found by the Post were actually Hunter Biden's. A person who had independent access to Hunter Biden's emails confirmed he did receive a 2015 email from a Ukraine businessman thanking him for the chance to meet Joe Biden. The same goes for a 2017 email in which a proposed equity breakdown of a venture with Chinese energy executives include the line 10 held by H for the big guy, Hunter, his father. Politico wrote, emails released by a Swedish government agency also matched emails in the leaked cache, and two people who corresponded with Hunter Biden confirmed emails from the cache were genuine. So now what? What happened? There's obviously a lot of cronyism going on, and we have the media finally covering it and acknowledging it. Is anything going to come from this? I don't really think there will be. New York Post is one of the oldest papers. I know. And it's a recognized publication of journalism. Journalist. First Amendment. And they suppressed it and they squashed it and they made it so they made it so that they couldn't have their news story out there. It's crazy. Last year, Politico claimed the Hunter Biden story was Russian disinformation because of a bunch of former intel officers said so. Those officials' baseless allegation became so widespread that the director of national intelligence, John Radcliffe, had to clarify that Biden's emails were not part of some Russian disinformation campaign, and there was absolutely no evidence to support such a claim. The former intelligence officials, several of whom were rampant anti-Trump critics, even admitted that they do not have evidence of Russian involvement, and they did not know if the emails are genuine or not, as independent journalist Glenn Greenwald recently pointed out. However, the media ignored Radcliffe's warning and continued to dismiss the Hunter Biden laptop story as unverified. The New York Times alleged that the Russians were using former President Trump, then personal attorney Rudy Giuliani, who gave the New York Post access to Hunter Biden's laptops and its contents. The intelligence agency warned the White House late last year that Russian intelligence officers were using President Trump's personal lawyer, Giuliani, as a conduit for disinformation aimed at undermining the Biden presidential run, according to 4 current and former American officials. NPR went as so far as to say they wouldn't cover the story at all because its assertions don't amount to much. I think it amounts to a lot. You have deals being made, people getting fired in order to get money from the U.S. government because they didn't personally like them. That's just one of the stories that came out of that. As Greenwald argued, the media's refusal to cover the verify the New York Post report was obviously designed to protect Biden in the lead up to the election. And now that the election is over, Biden is president, the media is willing to do its job. The intelligence community, in partnership with big tech and corporate media, disseminated massive lies and disinformation using censorship and other manipulative techniques to shape the outcome of what was a close election, Greenwald said. Censorship. There's a reason why the First Amendment is there, and I think we're seeing the reasons why it was there in the first place. There are far more defensive guns used than murders in America. I agree with that. I've had to point a firearm at 2 individuals, and I haven't had to do that my entire life. Right? Like, I haven't had a firearm all my life. There was plenty of, like, my 20s and most of my 30s where I didn't own a firearm. But living in the ghetto where I live now, there's been a few times where I've had to brandish it. in order to get people that are on my property off of my property. They had no right being here. However, I didn't have to shoot them, so that's a good thing. While Americans know that guns take many innocent lives every year, many don't know that firearms also save them. On May 15th, an attacker at an apartment complex in Fort Smith, Arkansas, fatally shot a woman and then fired 93 rounds at other people before a man killed him with a bolt-action rifle. Holy crap. Police said he likely saved a number of lives in the process. This is just going to go into all the different guns that save people's lives. I'm surprised it's number 2 on here. I mean, everybody kind of knows that already, don't they? I mean, anybody who's into firearms or into freedom or understand why the Second Amendment, well, Second Amendment wasn't there for self-protection, but I mean, it's part of it. All right, we're not going to read all that. Here we go. The main story that I wanted to get to tonight anyway. There's not much going on today. Although I did see some stuff about the whole thing that's going on in Del Rio, but I didn't see any news stories come up on my feed. As far as I know, that's still going on. I watched a Mule Team video yesterday, I believe it was, after the evening catch-up, where he was talking about what was going on down there with the whipping, or, the people on horseback rounding up the migrants. I don't know what my opinion is on that. I didn't watch the whole thing play out. He's definitely not a fan of the whipping part or the whatever, any other physical part. I don't know where I'm at. I haven't watched the whole thing. I do think that all humans need to be treated like humans. However, if you're on my property without permission, you best be happy that you're still breathing as you're getting off of my property. Now, if you're just sitting under a bridge on the Mexico side, I don't need to bother with you. But if you know that it's wrong to cross and you still try, and I see it, yeah, I'm going to try to stop that. I don't know. Senator Mike Lee introduced legislation on Tuesday to prevent the federal government from funding sex change research on children. The Protect Our Kids from Harmful Research Act will outlaw funding for research that subjects children to hormonal treatment or sex organ mutilation surgeries. You remember when we were so upset as a nation that the Afghan government was gender mutilating the girls, basically circumcising the girls, cutting off their fun bean? The federal government should never fund research that harms kids, Lee said. This bill would protect taxpayers from funding spurious research, but more importantly, it will protect kids from the permanent damage of this irresponsible research can produce. Yeah, I definitely think that kids shouldn't make any decisions while they're kids. I don't think that anything that's irreversible should be done to them until they're of age to decide on their own if that's what they want to do. Because kids go through phases, man. What's up, Guns Coast to Coast? It's been a minute. Been working overtime. Just stop by and say hi. What's up? How you been doing? I saw the video. I saw one video saying, y'all better watch out. I'm going to be dropping some videos that are going to piss people off, and you can also unsubscribe. I saw that, and I liked it. I'm not doing it for views because I never ask you to subscribe and shit. And I was like, damn, I ask people to like, comment, and subscribe all the damn time. I guess I'm a sellout. I don't know. I like to see people in here, though. Makes it a lot more fun than when I'm by myself. Yesterday, we were all by ourselves. The chat went really quick. It wasn't much of a chat. Puberty blockers do not... Oh, hold up. Some doctors give puberty blockers to children who claim to experience gender dysphoria. Dude, it's a good thing they didn't have that back when we were growing up. I don't know how many times I dressed up for Halloween. I could have been something else, keeping it real. Hell yeah, man. See, there's a lot of people that can't handle real. They like their echo chambers, right? Either Trump is amazing or Trump is evil. Right versus left. You start making them open their eyes and see stuff from both sides. That's uncomfortable for a lot of people. Puberty blockers do not merely halt puberty given to children, more time to decide about their sexual orientation or as gender ideologies claim. Instead, they cause irreparable damage in children, including say that word. Infertility, and other permanent development defects. Puberty blockers also have not been connected to mental health improvements. Then, as children entering their late teenage years, doctors transition them to male or female, holy shit, sex hormones, which further disfigure their bodies. Jessica Anderson, executive director at Heritage Action for America, said the left has seized upon growing pains that society has exacerbated and turned them into medical experiments. Unproven, irreversible procedures related to gender transitions for children do more harm than good, as research shows that 80 to 95% of children with gender dysphoria no longer feel distressed by their bodies after puberty, she said. Some children are then subjected to so-called sex reassignment surgery, but since sex cannot be reassigned, these children are castrated or mutilated and made infertile. We all go through phases. Subs actually went up when I said, yeah, I would imagine so. I think you got a good, healthy group there. I haven't gone through all your comments to see how many hate comments you get or anything like that, but I mean, I do know that there is a big group of people out there that appreciate somebody who's not just doing the script. Under the direction of Dr. Francis Collins, NIH has fueled the promotion of reckless gender experimentation on youth, approving irreversible treatments for children as young as 8 years old. Wow. This is not science, it's medical scandal. If this was going on in another country, we'd be all upset. I know we were when they were castrating frickin' girls in the Middle East. 3 Republicans co-sponsored Lee's bill: Mike Brann of Indiana, James Lankford of Oklahoma, and Roger Wicker of Mississippi. Apparently. Remember last summer, some guy in Bangor had a summer dress on and work boots, and the guy also had a longer beard than I did. By all means, man, if you want to wear a dress, wear a fucking dress. You want me to call you a girl? Well, just come up with a girl name so, I don't have to think of Mike as a female, Make it easy. Call yourself Becky or something. I'll call you Becky. The Reverend Jesse Jackson was released Wednesday from a Chicago facility a month after he was hospitalized for a breakthrough sniffle infection, COVID, I'm just going to say it, COVID infection, and intensive physical therapy for Parkinson's disease. The civil rights leader and his wife, Jacqueline, were the first hospitalized at Northwestern Memorial Hospital last month. Jesse Jackson, 79, had been vaccinated for the COVID, but his 77-year-old wife was not. She required oxygen and a brief intensive care unit stay before she was released this month. The Reverend's case was less severe, and about a week after he was first hospitalized for COVID, he was transferred to a physical therapy hospital. Wow, physical therapy? That must be nice. He briefly spoke to reporters Wednesday, accompanied by doctors and therapists who were working with him at the Shirley Ryan Ability Lab. Jackson said he did not have any shortness of breath or respiratory issues, but it did affect his Parkinson's and his ability to walk and talk. Well, I mean, not everything was bad. The shot protected me from death, he said, without evidence about the vaccine. Doctors and other medical staff described a regime of about 60 to 90 minutes of daily physical therapy, along with occupational and speech therapy, saying the civil rights leader, who has remained active since disclosing his Parkinson's diagnosis in 2017, was full of energy and upbeat during his treatment. Before he left the hospital for home, he playfully confirmed with the medical team, "So I can march again?" Despite his illness and gallbladder surgery this year, Jackson has remained active, yada, yada, yada. And, of course, he wants everybody to get the shot. Get your shots. Get them now. Get them while they're hot. Let's see. This kind of goes with that one. Biden's approval rating among blacks plummets, though, after his shot mandate. What's up, Broken Patriot? How you doing? President Biden's approval ratings have drastically fallen, especially among blacks, since his announcement of the federal vaccine mandate, the Morning Consult reported. As of today, only 71% of black voters approve of Biden's work as president. 71% of black voters approve of Biden. down 5 points since he announced his unconstitutional vaccine mandate earlier this month. Further, his disapproval rating among blacks has jumped 7 points from 17 to 24 since the announcement. In recent decades, blacks have almost exclusively backed Democrats, especially in large urban centers. Most angry with the president are unvaccinated black voters, a substantial segment of the black population who feel betrayed by Biden's unconstitutional vaccine mandate. The spike in disapproval emerged largely from the unvaccinated black voters. 38% of black voters who have successfully avoided the vaccine disapprove of Biden's performance. Before the mandate, only 27% of unvaccinated blacks strongly disapproved of the president. That has gone up by like 11 points. The sudden shift of one of their most reliable constituencies ought to alarm leftist pundits. These movements in polls signal the potential for a formation of a new coalition against the progressives. Rural and poor whites, along with blacks and the urban poor, might willingly join forces against the coastal elites in order to preserve their own ways of life from elitist social engineering. Outside of the black population, Biden's approval has dipped slightly, despite of the Afghanistan debacle. Well, you don't hear about that much on the news anymore. The immigration crisis, which I didn't see on anything but Fox, and the new overreaching mandate. According to a recent survey, the president's overall approval rating has dropped 3% since he announced the vaccine mandate. Well, take that for what it is. I like Biden as much today as I liked him yesterday. So my approval rating hasn't really gone up or down. The other day at Walmart, seen an ambulance coming in the parking lot, and then 2 medics ran into the store to the post-shot area. Someone had been bad reaction. There's a lot of that going around, I've been told. I can't really talk about it too much, but probably a lot of it. Russiagate hoax advanced because the conspirators were all connected. This kind of went with the other one. I should have done. I was a little bit late to the stream, so my apologies. The indictment of the Washington attorney Michael Sussman, accused of lying to the FBI in order to smear Donald Trump during the 2016 campaign, reveals the ace up his sleeve of high-powered Democrats. It's the card they played time and time again to advance the Trump-Russia conspiracy theory. Friends in high places. They used friends in law enforcement to launch secret investigations. They used friends in the federal government to broaden those investigations. And they used friends in the media to spread the word about Trump and his organization being under investigation. The Russian fiasco mysterized in large part because those involved in advancing the false allegations had important connections. They used friendships with powerful federal officials to encourage investigations against Team Trump. Those targeted by Sussman and others were unabashed outsiders, and such lacked the sort of connections the insiders exploited so thoroughly. You mean they all are connected? They all have friends in powerful places and can get stuff done when they want to? No. Sussman was a partner at the Washington law firm Perkins Coie in 2016, which represented the Democratic National Committee and Hillary Clinton's campaign for president. But according to the indictment handed down by the special counsel John Durham last week, when he met with the FBI's general counsel, James Baker, to allege that Trump was in cahoots with the Russians, Sussman claimed that he was representing another client. The indictment alleges this was false. Securing a meeting with the FBI's top lawyer can't have been easy, but for Sussman it was. Not just anyone can call it the Bureau's general counsel, and with euphorious claim of conspiratorial criminality by a presidential candidate, promptly get a private sit-down, and yet that is exactly what Sussman did. How? Because, as Baker told congressional investigators, Sussman came to him based on pre-existing relationship. It's all about who you know. In a closed-door congressional testimony on October 18, 2018, Baker told lawmakers about Sussman's convoluted claim that a computer server at Trump Tower was in secret contact with a possible Russian government cutout, Alpha Bank. So he was describing what appeared to be a surreptitious channel of communications between some part of President Trump's, I'll say organization, but it could be his business. I don't mean like the Trump organization per se. I mean his enterprises, which is he associated some of the part of that, and an organization associated with a Russian organization associated with the Russian government, yada, yada, yada. That's an opinion piece for the most part. It was interesting. I'm sure that happens. Yeah, I'm sure it happens a ton. Well, this time it happened to be at the right place, the right time to need to piss. Oh, you're in the bathroom? Governors criticize Biden's rationing of the COVID antibody treatments. Learning more about this, I don't know what my opinion is on it. I've only learned about it, I believe, within the last week. But I'll tell you right now, I'd be more inclined to study into this and keep an open mind than what's already available, personally. But once again, I am not a professional in the medical field, and nobody, and I mean nobody, should take any kind of medical information from me. If you do, you're a bad word that I cannot say. Demand for a key COVID treatment has led to a nationwide shortage as President Joe Biden's administration rations how much each state receives. Many governors are having to decide how to use their limited supplies. Many states are warning their residents that the treatment may not be available, and some are discussing offering it only to unshotted Americans or unvaccinated Americans. On Tuesday, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, a Democrat, warned his state's residents that there is not going to be enough of the treatment. We will have at least one monoclonal antibody treatment provider in each of our area development districts, but there is not going to be enough anywhere, Beshear said. If you're putting off the vaccine to have an infusion, let me tell you, an infusion is much more invasive, according to him, not me, and there are not going to be enough of those anywhere in the Commonwealth. Get the vaccine, he said. Get your vaccine. Monoclonal antibodies are used to bind the COVID-19 spike protein, inhibiting the virus from entering more cells. That treatment, which is used to help keep infected patients out of the hospital, has grown in popularity and helped in many states, making huge strides in fighting the virus. While we hope that our weekly case numbers are plateauing, we cannot sustain a plateau at this level with the number of people who it would put in the hospital, Beshear said. On any given day, we've only got between 90 and 120 total open adult ICU beds in the state, and that's with many outpatient and elective procedures canceled to allow more space in the hospital to be converted to ICU units. This cannot become business as usual. Because of the increase in demand, Tennessee officials recommend that priority for the treatment be given to the unvaccinated individuals, since they are much more likely to need hospitalization. Biden's announced in a speech earlier this month that his administration would increase their distribution of the treatment by 50%. Health and Human Services has also taken over distributing the doses based on cases and hospitalization, instead of allowing individual sites to order on their own, a move that has been criticized by many state officials. The monoclonal antibody treatment has been shown to reduce the risk of hospitalization by up to 70% for unvaccinated people at the risk of developing severe disease. Biden said, "We've already distributed 1.4 million courses of those treatments to save lives and reduce the strain on hospitals, but the U.S. Health and Human Services Department is now restricting how much supply goes to each state." It has drawn criticism from many states like Florida that have higher numbers of infections and sniffle deaths. Florida and states like Texas have seen a significant decrease in COVID hospitalizations and deaths using the treatment. There's going to be a huge disruption, and patients are going to suffer as a result of this, DeSantis said in a recent news conference. The federal government's rationing of the treatment. The federal rationing could lead to shortages in some parts of the country, even as many governors recently announced a string of new monoclonal antibody infusion sites. We will continue to expand access to COVID antibody therapeutic infusion centers in our communities, and I encourage Texans who test positive for COVID to continue utilizing this treatment, said the governor of Texas. Today, I pressed President Biden's team to explain the sudden rationing of these life-saving treatments without any warning after the administration urged us to promote them. Maryland Governor Larry Hogan said in a statement this last week, "It is yet another example of confusing and conflicting guidance coming from the federal government." Now I want to say something, but it'll probably get me in trouble. maybe, and this is just me thinking possibilities, maybe President Biden, since he came out with a mandate to any employer with more than 100 employees, saying that if you have more than 100 employees, you have to mandate that they all get the vax. Maybe this is a way to make sure people don't have another way other than getting the vax. Maybe President Biden doesn't want you to have a different treatment option because they all, I mean, they want you to get the vax. YouTube wants you to get the vax. Everybody wants you to get the vax. Just get it. Be one of us. Be one of us. Be one of us. White House Secretary Psaki was questioned during a news briefing last week about the shortages, but she pointed to Biden's pledge to up the number of doses and dismissed any notion that the doses were being distributedly unfairly. In early August, where we were distributing on average of 100,000 doses a week, now we are shipping an average of 150,000 doses a week. Our supply is not unlimited, and we believe it should be equitable across the states, across the country. I think our role as the government overseeing the entire country is to be equitable on how we distribute. We are not going to give a greater percentage to Florida over Oklahoma. Okay. 4 ways Americans are fighting anti-science stuff. I have no idea what they're talking about. It's the reason I went to the store was dropping stepson off at work. Ah, cool. He works at a gas station? Or Walmart? You don't have to answer that. All right, we got to be a little bit careful on this one. In the U.S., it would be easy to believe the vast majority of people are in lockstep with the government's pandemic policies. Networks are aflush with headlines claiming their polls show a majority of Americans support policies like mask and vaccine mandates, and detractors are painted as fringe. Well, I don't know about your state, but in my state, it's 51% have gotten the shot, which means there's 49%, even with all these mandates coming out, that still haven't. Will they? I'm sure more of them will. How many more? I don't really know. Every good politico knows that with the right framing, you can get a poll to say anything you want to. But aside from the unreliable nature of the polls and the headlines dominating our airwaves, there is another problem with the media's reporting. They never seem to elevate stories that tell a counter narrative. Well, yeah, they have something to sell you that doesn't cost you any money, technically. So it's an easy sell, right? It's free and it's going to totally save you. One doesn't have to look far to find examples of Americans who have simply had enough of the anti-scientific and unconstitutional mandates. We know and have known for over a year that the majority of masks in use provide their opinion. They don't think it works too great. Additionally, studies have shown that mask mandates failed to reduce COVID deaths, hospitalizations, or even cases. On top of all that, we are constantly seeing the same leaders who push these unscientific mandates on the rest of us while they flout the rules whenever it suits their fancy, like Alexandria Cortez at the Met Gala or San Francisco mayor partying at a local jazz club. Yeah, we all know that. The hypocrisy of it. As I said, we could have done this as the hypocrisy report and it would have been fine. Works at Walmart in the produce and meats. Ooh. Get you a good deal on meats. That would be awesome. If you can. I would imagine he gets an employee discount. It's usually like, what, 10%? Many Haitian migrants being released in U.S., not deported. Many Haitian migrants camped in a small Texas border town are being released into the United States. 2 U.S. officials said Tuesday, undercutting the Biden administration's public statements that the thousands in the camp faced an immediate expulsion. Haitians have been freed on a very, very large scale in recent days, according to one U.S. official who put the figure into the thousands. The official with direct knowledge of operations who is not authorized to discuss the matter and thus spoke in condition of anonymity. Many have been released with notices to appear at an immigration office within 60 days, and an outcome that requires less processing time for Border Patrol agents than ordering an appearance in immigration court, and points to the speed at which authorities are moving, the official said. The Homeland Security Department has bused Haitians from Del Rio to El Paso, Laredo, and Rio Grande Valley along the Texas border, and this week added flights to Tucson, Arizona. They are processed by the Border Patrol at those locations. A second U.S. official, also with direct knowledge and speaking on a condition of anonymity, said large numbers of Haitians were being processed under immigration laws and not being placed on expulsion flights to Haiti that started on Sunday. The official could not be more specific about how many. U.S. authorities scrambled in recent days for buses to Tucson, but resorted to flights when they couldn't find enough transportation contractors. I wonder if they just didn't want to, or maybe they didn't get their shot, and so they didn't want them to drive the bus. I don't know. Coast Guard planes took Haitians from Del Rio to El Paso. The release in the U.S. were occurring despite the signaling of a massive effort to expel Haitians on flights to Haiti under pandemic-related authority that denies migrant an opportunity to seek asylum. A third U.S. official, not authorized to discuss operations, said there was 7 daily flights to Haiti planned starting on Wednesday. Accounts of wide-scale releases, some observed at the Del Rio bus station by Associated Press journalists, are at odds with statements a day earlier by Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Marquez, who traveled to Del Rio to promise swift action. If you come to the United States illegally, you will be returned. Your journey will not succeed, and you will be endangering your life and your family's life, he said on Monday's news conference. The release comes amid a quick effort to empty the camp under the bridge that, according to some estimates, held more than 14,000 people over the weekend in a town of 35,000 people. Wow. Can you imagine if they all just bum rushed that? Greg Abbott, during a visit on Tuesday to Del Rio, said the country's top official told him most recent tally at the camp was about 8,600 migrants. The criteria for deciding who is flown to Haiti and who is released into the U.S. was unclear, but 2 U.S. officials had said single adults were the priority for expulsion flights. Homeland Security Department did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Meanwhile, Mexico has begun busing and flying Haitian migrants away from the U.S. border, authorities said on Tuesday, signaling a new level of support for the United States as the camp presented President Biden with a humanitarian and increasingly political challenge. He can't help it, man. He can't do much. He's kind of old. This should be his golden years. He should be taking it easy, not facing all these difficult real-world problems. The White House is facing sharp bipartisan condemnation. Republicans say Biden's administration policies led Haitians to believe they would get asylum. Democrats are expressing outrage after images went viral this week of Border Patrol agents on horseback using aggressive tactics against the migrants. If they're on Mexico's side, I definitely have a problem with it. If they jump the fence and were trying to make a break for it, I don't have much of a problem with it. I could be swayed. That opinion could change. Because I didn't watch the whole thing. I don't know everything that went on. But if they jump the fence, just like if somebody runs from the cops and then gets tackled to the ground, as long as they tackle to the ground and handcuff them, that's not excessive. I think Mule would definitely disagree with me on that one, but that's all right. We disagree on things. We have 3 butcher shops up here. I like to shop at for meats. Nice. Yeah, I don't buy my meats from Walmart. I haven't for a long time. In fact, it's been at least 2 years. Maybe a year. It's been a while since I even stepped into a Walmart. But around here, we go to a butcher shop. One of the best butcher shops in Arizona, in my opinion, too. And we get all of our prime beef there. Mexico has helped at key moments before. It intensified patrols to stop unaccompanied Central American children from reaching the Texas border in 2014, allowed tens of thousands of asylum seekers to wait in Mexico for hearings in the U.S. immigration courts in 2019, and just last month began deporting Central American migrants to Guatemala after the Biden administration flew them to South Mexico. Okay, well, we'll stop reading that. Yeah, this one. You know what I didn't do? I did not check my Discord. Let me go to Discord real quick, too. Oh, my arm is sore. Wuhan scientists planned, I guess past tense, to release coronavirus into bat population. Chinese scientists in Wuhan plan to genetically engineer coronavirus that were more infectious to human beings and release them into nearby bat populations, according to leaked documents obtained by the Telegraph. Researchers at the Wuhan Institute of Virology drafted a proposal that would have allowed them to genetically enhance airborne coronaviruses and release their novel chimeric spike proteins among cave bats in Yana, China. Interesting. Now that I have this open, let me check. Oh, by the way, we did get a package today, but we didn't get to the post office in time to get it. So to Anonymous American, I will definitely check up on that as soon as I can tomorrow. Okay. Okay, they also wanted to alter coronavirus by introducing human-specific cleavage sites that would make them more transmissible among human beings. They submitted the project in 2018 to the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, which is part of the Defense Department, but the DARPA rejected it over fears that it would qualify as gain-of-function research, which is restricted by the U.S. government. It is clear that the proposed project could have put local communities at risk, DARPA said in its rejection. Well, I'm glad they rejected it. See? Nothing to see here, YouTube. The proposal was spearheaded by Peter Daszak, the head of Eco Health Alliance, a New York-based firm that channeled millions of dollars in U.S. funding to the Wuhan Institute of Virology. These documents make it clear that Wuhan scientists were at least trying to conduct gain-of-function research, which lends additional credibility to a theory that COVID originated and escaped from the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Several GOP lawmakers have demanded additional information on the research being conducted in Wuhan, which would include additional testimony from Dr. Fauci, who helped secure U.S. funding for Eco Health Alliance and through it, the Wuhan lab. Oh, I would love to see him back there with Ron Paul again. Rand Paul. Unfortunately, members have attempted to get answers from public health officials to no avail. Officials such as Fauci have misled the public about National Institute for Allergy and Infectious Diseases funding of gain-of-function research, a group of House Republicans wrote in a letter to House Speaker Pelosi. Yeah, well, you're not going to get anywhere doing that. Beans and Sons is 1 Maple Lane Farms is number 2, and the last is Herring Bros. Washington Beans and Sons? Maple Lane Farms. Huh. That's cool. Ours is called Hobie or Home Meat. It's Hobe meat, I believe. All right, let me see if I can see anything that catches my eye. Fed signals it may reduce bond buying stimulus by year's end. Okay. Colorado school shooter sentenced to life plus 1,200 years in prison. Is that anybody we know? I don't think so. 20-year-old convicted of fatally shooting a teenager and injuring 8 others during a 2019 school shooting was sentenced Friday to life in prison without the possibility of parole plus an extra 1,200 years. Yeah, you gotta love that. Like, that's so. Can we get it? If we ever have to redo how we process criminals, can we get rid of that shit? Can you just say life in prison without possibility of parole, like you never getting out? Why do you have to add on 1,200 years? Who does that help? It looks like you didn't do well in kindergarten or in 3rd grade math. You know what I mean? Douglas County Judge Theresa Slade told Devin Erickson, I obviously disagree that imposing a sentence that may seem academic is a waste of time. I hope that it accomplishes the goal of the legislator and my intentions today, which is to make sure this never happens again. Erickson was convicted of 46 charges, which included murder, conspiracy to commit murder, 31 counts of criminal attempt to commit murder, conspiracy to commit theft, and more. Another student who was convicted in the shooting, Alec McKinney, was sentenced to life in prison in June of 2020. So this was 2 kids. Erickson opened fire in an English class at STEM School Highlands Ranch on May 7th, 2019. Funny, we never heard about it. I guess we were all too focused on, the sniffles. No, that was before that happened, wasn't it? Yeah. Student Kendrick Castillo was shot and killed while trying to stop Erickson from shooting more students. That's what you get for being a hero. Okay, we also have Amazon. Oh, we already did that one. Sweet. All right, guys, that's going to be all I have for you in the story department. Now, we will be having the Patriot Bible chat in about a little over an hour and 4 minutes. I haven't set it up yet, so I have to go set that up. But look for that. I'm also recording those episodes so that I can upload them to the main channel once I get control of the main channel again. As far as the main channel goes, I did appeal the one that I haven't heard back from them yet. I have not appealed the other one just because I kind of got disheartened with it and just didn't want to do it. And today I've been kind of doing everything but being on the computer. So at some point I'm going to appeal it. I'm not looking at like they're going to reverse anything. It'd be great if they did, but at this point I don't know, man. We just got to get used to the strikes. I'm giving you information they don't want you to know about. Or I'm giving you my opinion on things that they don't want you to know about. Once again, you should not take any kind of medical advice from me because I'm not a doctor, nurse, or anybody that works in a medical field. So obviously consult your doctor with anything medical, not some guy on the internet. Even the ones that are medical in the medical profession on the internet, I wouldn't do. Like Patriot Nurse. I don't know how many of y'all watch the Patriot Nurse. She's amazing. At the same time, I'm not taking medical advice from her because I don't know if she's a medical personnel. She says she is, but I haven't seen her paperwork. I don't know. It's strange in 2021 where now apparently YouTube thinks that we have to shut down these unauthorized medical advice channels, Crazy. Anyway, if this is your first doctor point, ooh, I like that, Zudak. I like that a lot. That's kind of nice. I'll have to come up with there's my third channel, right? The doctor is in. All right, guys, if this is your first time watching me, there are descriptions down below the video, and in those descriptions are links. We got links to all the causes I believe in and support. Go check those out. We have all the ways to donate money to the channel if you want to do that. And if you do, great. Thank you very much. If you do donate to the channel, though, just know that 50% goes to the cause I believe in and support the most, which is Irish USMC Vets GoFundMe page, where he's trying to set up some land in Tennessee where vets can stay room and board free. So 50% goes to that. Other than that, if you want to help out the channel without donating any money, there's a lot of ways to do it. You can subscribe, obviously, like the videos, comment on them, because I love seeing your comments. That's why I do the live shows. And then the biggest one of all is sharing it with friends that you know. Now, also, we do have some affiliate links down below. For Amazon, I did add a new one. Well, I didn't add a new one from yesterday, but since nobody was here yesterday, it's new to you because you weren't here. Or if you were, you weren't saying anything. And that is this. This is a headlamp, which I've tangled. But this is the headlamp that is down below. I have used it. Pretty much everything in the affiliate links down below I have bought and used. So count that as a review. It has low. This is medium. That's high. And then it has a strobe. And I use this when I'm outside grilling at night here in the valley. Or could be for other reasons too. There's a lot of reasons you could have one of these. It was cheap. It had great reviews. and I'm happy with my purchase. Let's just put it that way. So that's another way to help out the channel without spending any extra money if you are already looking at buying something like that anyway. I don't know how much of a kickback I get, and I don't really remember what Riddle told me on how long that will be available. So it's available now, but obviously if I don't get enough, I think it was 90 days. If I don't get enough people buying these things in 90 days, then they take that away. But if there are things that you have bought off of like Amazon, let's say, only because Amazon's really easy for me to be, do the affiliate thing, let me know in the Discord down below. And that's the other link down below that you should be aware of is all the places to follow me, including my Discord. Because when we get a strike, that's where I posted that I got a strike and y'all need to come over here. So join the Discord. Let me know what products have you used on Amazon that you like and for what is, what's the purpose if I don't know what it is. And maybe we can set some other stuff up too. I'd love to have like maybe I should just do videos on reviewing it. Like I could do a review video on the headlamp easily enough, but I don't know. I've been thinking about different things to do on the channel because doing the evening catch up, which I love doing, it also gets me in the most trouble. So I don't know. Maybe I should rethink what I put on my channels. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys tonight. I will check you out in about an hour over on the same channel here, but over on the Patriot Bible Chat. I hope to see you all there. If not, I'll see you tomorrow. Until then, make sure to keep that family close. Watch out for that government and try to live as free as you can in the tyrannical world we live in. Until I see you next time. Peace.